Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to talk about what Dave Ramsey would call ticky-tack videos. I'm just kidding. TikTok videos about inflation. So it seems like for whatever reason, people like to rant on TikTok about how they're living paycheck to paycheck. And I think what's happening is that for a lot of people who recently became adults and graduated high school or college, they realize that they're living paycheck to paycheck and they think it's this brand new phenomenon because of inflation, right? But I would just kind of counter argue against that because I remember once upon a time I lived paycheck to paycheck too, and it was really, really hard. And I was just kind of like, why doesn't anybody care? And it's kind of like how most of the population, unless they're like at their last moments, that's when they start to care. It's like, why don't, and they don't have the foresight to kind of see that this has been a problem for a while. And I'm going to show you what I mean by that. So, yes, everybody's feeling it. I'm kind of feeling it too, but this has been a problem for a while. I mean, take a look at this article here in the Atlantic, 2013. So this is about 10 years ago. McDonald's can't figure out how its workers survive on minimum wage. So it says in a financial planning guide for its workers, the company accidentally illustrates precisely how impossible it is to scrape by on a fast food paycheck, right? And once upon a time, as a somewhat semi-new college graduate, when I couldn't find work, I heard all that nonsense that, well, I gotta work harder, and if it's not, but it shouldn't be below you to even work, these types of jobs. And I was like, why not just do that after I graduated high school then? Right? If I was going to go to college and it didn't lead to a job, what's the point? Why not I just do this? And so eventually I did work a fast food job for 1 month. I didn't work at McDonald's, but you know what? Even though fast food suck, I got to give it props for at least teaching me something about business, which college did not. And at least, I got stable hours. You can't even say that for retail, right? Like you ever see like the life of a retail worker? Like they don't get full-time hours and their schedules randomly change like every single week. It is the most bizarre thing. I'm pretty sure the peak hours of a retail store does not change every single week because people they got to work from 9 to 5 and they probably do most of their shopping on Sundays or Saturdays, right? Before on the weekends, and it should be predictable, but the people who run these businesses don't really know what they're doing. So one of the things that you can learn from working these businesses is kind of figure out most people don't know what they're doing, right? And the other thing too is that people living from, what do you call it, mouth to foot or hand to toe have been living paycheck to paycheck for quite a while. This isn't some brand new thing. It might be brand new to you because you were young and you were fed this fantasy that if you, did well in high school, went to college, um, everything would be okay, right? But and the reason why people back then, back in the day, did well, even though times were tough, is because they had communities and families to share their suffering with, right? People work together. People don't do that anymore. They lead too much of an individualized lifestyle and wonder why their lives aren't going the way that it's supposed to be. And you have young people these days who are like 12, 13, they don't even spend time with their friends anymore in the summers, right? So in the community building years of your youth, people did not want to do what was necessary. It's like having plants and not watering them and wonder why they die, right? Like there's a basic fundamental building block of society that we need to rebuild in order to have a functioning society again. And so even when times are tough, we can be shielded from the tough times. But people don't want to think about community growth, learning and growing together. And that's something I've been ranting about for a while, just because I felt like when I need other people, oh, they abandoned me, right? And that seems to be a big thing in society these days. So again, this thing about inflation, blah blah blah, this is not a new thing. People have been living paycheck to paycheck for a while, you know? And that's the funny thing. It's funny when the company itself admits that it can't figure out how its workers survive, right? Like we can't figure it out. Like, and the other thing too is there's a component to this where you have to think highly of yourself to learn how to say no. Sometimes a big portion of success is learning how to say no to bad opportunities, especially true in real estate investing, right? If you learn how to say no to the bad deals, it's actually better than than doing a bad deal, right? So, okay, well, this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below. Fill in your information, submit it. We'll give you a contact and get on a Zoom call to see if you're a good fit for a group. And we will talk next time. Bye, everybody.